Alright everybody, so last night MultiVersus was real sneaky on us and they stealth dropped the next character release teaser trailer. So at 10 p.m. last night, MultiVersus wrote, "Oh no, at Tony Hun, you got Gizmo wet, hashtag MultiVersus." And then at 11 p.m. they tweeted out, "Okay, we get it, you're hungry. Hang tight furballs, we've got some fried chicken around here somewhere, hashtag MultiVersus." And then at 3 a.m. for me in Eastern Standard Time, but midnight Pacific Standard Time, we got this tweet. "Wait, what time is it? Mother of God, what have we done? Next week is going to be a bit chaotic, hashtag MultiVersus." And there is this video attached to the tweet, so let's check it out. Here's MultiVersus. Gizmo. Ooh, what was that? Yeah, it's gonna be Stripe. He's running around the attic again. Nice. Yes! Them with the projector. Awesome. So obviously Stripe is our next character coming next week. I love that they slowly tweeted out the rules about not getting a Mogwai wet and not feeding them after midnight. That's what causes them to transform into Gremlins. And I love that this teaser trailer had the Gremlin silhouettes on a projector screen. Great reference to how often Gremlins have messed with film in the movies. Like the shot of them against the movie screen in the first Gremlins movie, and how they literally mess with the movie reel itself and show up as silhouettes like this in the Gremlins 2 sequel movie. Very awesome Gremlins references all around with this teaser trailer. I really dug it. Tony even wrote, "Can't believe we got to release this after midnight." Considering it was 3 a.m. my time, I was asleep for the actual reveal of this when this tweet went out. But honestly, cooler that they did it after midnight than if I was awake to actually see it when it dropped. So Stripe was our guess already at who the next character likely was going to be. Rumor has been that the data mines have suggested as much. And on our predictions calendar next week is where we had been guessing he'd most likely be releasing. So our Stripe predictions really worked out here. We had been guessing maybe this image of Rick and Garnet coming out of Rick's portal could be a hint at Stripe being the next character. You see, past tweets like this Rick and Garnet image might have been hints towards the next fighter to get revealed. We had this tweet of Finn and Jerry in his backpack, highly reminiscent of Billy with Gizmo in his backpack. So we guessed Gizmo could be the next character, and it turned out he was. Next, we had this tweet of Morty with Gizmo in a Meeseeks box. Rick uses Meeseeks as part of his moveset, so we guessed at Rick, and once again, we were right. Rick was our next character to get released for MultiVersus. Unclear if these images were actually hints, or just so far our guesses for them have worked out, but since so far they have been working out, we were guessing at what this Rick and Garnet image could actually be. So for this pick of Rick and Garnet, I was trying to think of how this could relate to Stripe, as Stripe was the character I was guessing at being next anyway. Garnet is crouched down a bit like a typical Gremlin stance, so I thought maybe that's why Garnet is the stand-in for Stripe here, and I thought maybe the glowing green portal could fit well for the green glow of the inside of the cocoons the Gremlins emerge from. So Garnet coming out of the portal could sort of be like a gremlin emerging from the cocoon. But an even better guess seems to be the overall look and color scheme of the image matching up well for the final showdown with Stripe. The image of Rick and Garnet is at night with the flowers and vines everywhere, and an overall pink and green color scheme. Stripe's final fight happens in this garden area with a glowing fountain, and although it's pretty dark, there's a lot of glowing green and pink lighting everywhere. Matches up pretty well for this Rick and Garnet pick. Maybe the portal is supposed to be the fountain itself. Also, I saw it suggested that since Garnet is a fusion character, that could fit for Stripe as a Mogwai transformed into a gremlin. So they're kind of a two beings in one type character like Garnet. I don't know, just thought that was a neat guess. Anyway, whatever the case, we now have Stripe confirmed as our next character, happening next week. Player First Games earlier this week also tweeted out this weird sword emoji tweet. Right, 2 swords, 1 sword, right, up, 2 swords equals question mark. Arya was guessed at for who this could be about, and Player First Games wrote, "We think so too, ain't that crazy." So I guess this was just an Arya reference tweet. The stranger tweet we got earlier this week, though, was this one. "Something really cool is on the horizon. Here is a sneak peek. Can you guess what it is?" So there's just an image that says dog with a heart in the O. This was followed up by a tweet with a bone and a dog emoji. This had some people guessing maybe ScoobyDoo would actually be happening soon. Scooby is on our big list of rumored to be potentially data mined and leaked characters after all. But we also have rumors from data miners that there will be an upcoming Halloween event, and it's using the title Scoobtober for some of its stuff. Assumedly a tie-in to the Scoobtober event happening on Cartoon Network right now. So maybe it was for Scooby, but not as a soon-to-be playable character, but rather just Scooby in relation to the Scoobtober Halloween event. I do think Scooby's happening eventually, I just don't think he's probably happening anytime too soon. However, if you look closely at the image, there's a heart in that O in the word dog. RainDog has a glowing heart over his head, so it seemed to make more sense it'd be about him in some way. And then if you looked really close, you can see a bit of some letters and symbols at the edges of the image. Someone figured out these letters and symbols fit really well for the phrase, "Make it RainDog." Turns out this guess was right. Player First Games made a follow-up tweet and wrote, "Let's make it RainDog, a brand new bi-weekly tournament brought to you by us. Tournaments will alternate between singles, 128 player cap, and teams, 64 teams cap. Registration will open today at 3 p.m. PST. So Make It RainDog is a bi-weekly tournament with a $500 prize pot. So that's what they were teasing with that dog image. For anyone out there who thinks they're good enough to make it RainDog every other week, that's a pretty good prize pot. We also had a pretty interesting tweet involving the chances of MultiVersus getting a character from Mortal Kombat. Ed Boon, known for his work on Mortal Kombat, was asked, "Is there any chance that a MK character could show up in MultiVersus?" And Ed Boon wrote, "That would be dangerous for me to answer." This isn't the first time Ed Boon has talked about MultiVersus either. Right before EVO he wrote, "Granted, I know nothing, but I'm personally excited to see what @MultiVersus has in store for EVO." And Tony has also written, "I'm definitely not saying it's going to happen, but if you were going to pick 2 MK characters to join @MultiVersus, which ones would you pick?" We, of course, have Scorpion mentioned by Huge Leaker Actually on our big list of rumored to be data mined and leaked characters. So it seems we can add this latest response to the pile of things going in favor of getting potentially Scorpion or some other Mortal Kombat characters into MultiVersus. Tony also recently wrote that the next 2 patches from us are really big. So that's good news to hear. Hopefully the first of these next 2 big patches shows up with Stripe next week. And lastly, Tony also mentioned adding common communication messages saying, "Curious, we've talked about some common communication commands like hang back, I'm going in, etc. Would you find that useful?" And he had talked about this before, recently saying some form of communication would be coming to MultiVersus eventually, but wanted to avoid the endgame chat being toxic. Cool to hear some form of communication is going to be implemented at some point for MultiVersus though. Okay, well that's everything I got for you guys today. Very awesome, we have Stripe coming next week, and although I missed the initial reveal for that teaser trailer, I'm very happy they did it after midnight. Honestly, waking up to find out your Mogwai have transformed into Gremlins is pretty on point for a Gremlins character. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, leave them below.
Remember to like the video, leave a comment in the section below, and subscribe to Papa Gino's
Twitter, Patreon, Discord, Twitch.